Hey folks, this video has kindly been sponsored by NordVPN. I know you use the internet, and don't try to tell me that you don't, because, well, you're watching this video. And on the internet, you need protection. Like our best boy Link when venturing Hyrule. The internet is our Hyrule. Now, allow me to introduce you to NordVPN, the best protection for browsing the internet that you can get. As a NordVPN user myself, I can tell you from experience that I love and highly recommend using them. NordVPN is a virtual private network, and what that means is that when you're using your VPN, all of your data and private information is protected, and you can browse the internet with peace of mind in regards to your personal information and all that fun stuff. Not just that, but having a VPN also allows you to essentially be anywhere in the world on the internet and gain access to region exclusives such as certain movies and TV shows, deals on products, and even video games. The lovely folks over at NordVPN have been kind enough to offer you an exclusive deal through my channel. Get the exclusive NordVPN deal here. NordVPN.com/Hyrule. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. NordVPN also have a pretty cool bundle deal on offer which you can check out on their website. If you're interested in staying safe on the internet, then follow the link found on screen, in the description, or in the pinned comment. You can grab yourself a 2-year plan with a huge discount and 1 additional month for free. That's all over at NordVPN.com/Hyrule. Now, let's get into the video. Hey folks, fact, theory, or mystery in the Legend of Zelda series? We love it around here. Which is exactly why I've created my very own series, reviewing your theories and mysteries. An opportunity to move away from going over my own thoughts and putting you lovely folks in the spotlight, discussing any and all theories and or mysteries that you submit. Welcome back. Today, you are watching episode 7 of this series, and honestly, I'm proud of how it's developed so far. It's already had a slight name change and had its first guest, with another coming next month. Speaking of which, if you'd like to submit your own theories and or mysteries for next month's episode, the place to do so will be found in my YouTube community tab shortly after this video goes live. Anyway, we've got some juicy submissions to discuss today, so let's waste no time, and as always, be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them to get featured right here. Also be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps the channel out. And let's get into this one. Our opening submission of today comes from Space Flamingo. Beedle is a Yiga spy. Well, here on RYTM, we embrace bold theories like this. Beedle is a travelling salesman who has appeared several times across the series. In Breath of the Wild, we saw arguably the most developed version of this character. However, you believe he is a little sus. Point 1. He often writes in his journal. Innocent enough. But point 2. He has a build like a Yiga assassin. Point 3. His backpack is very large, maybe so large for precise teleportation from another Yiga clan member. Point 4. He always seems a bit nervous. Point 5. He travels as fast as Link can. Link could teleport across the entire map to the other side and Beedle would somehow be there. And point 6. He says that he likes the Faron region, somewhere with an abundance of bananas. The Yiga clan's favourite indulgence. Okay, let's break down your points. The writing in the journal being possibly for Yiga spy notes is possible if the rest can be proven, but standalone, not really a good point, in my opinion. He is a salesman at the end of the day, and this could simply be him doing finance stuff. His assassin-like build is a fair point and something to keep in mind. His backpack is rather large, but I don't really get what you mean by saying precise teleportation from another Yiga member. Perhaps in the comments of this video you could elaborate there? I think this just keeps all his stock. If he was a spy, the whole salesman thing would just be a get-up, an act. He would still have to play that part, you know? As for his nerves, this is a good point. The speed he travels at is definitely the biggest point here. It is very questionable how he can travel so quickly, rather than having random appearances or a tracking icon to see where he is in the world. Obviously, this is for player experience reasons. It'd be annoying if you had to track the salesman down every time. But for in-game lore reasons, it's suspicious how fast he travels. And he for some reason has a liking to the Faron region, which has a lot of bananas. Could be coincidental, could be evidence. I think that this is one of those ones that could go either way. It has a basis to go off of, but not enough to go further, making it more of a speculation than a solid theory. Trust me, I'd love for this to be provable, even just by a little bit more, but it does kind of break down the more and more you think about it and poke at it. The point you made regarding the notebook, you said this happens at a distance, implying Beedle is taking notes on Link, but you can actually see him doing this right by his side. I think this breaks down ultimately in the end, but it's a really cool idea with a little bit of a basis to go from. Let me know what you all think about this though. Do you maybe have some more evidence to this one, or is it just not true? It'd be cool though, I will say that. Next submission from David Ninstrom. What do you think happened during the final days of Hyrule during the Great Flood? A hard-hitting question, a mystery, as we've never actually seen these events visually. Prior to the events of the Wind Waker, Hyrule was flooded in a last-ditch effort to save the land from evil. This resulted in creating the Great Sea, with Hyrule left deep below. In the prologue to this adventure, we are shown some artwork depicting these events. It appeared to be a terrifying time, as the reason things got as drastic as flooding the land is because in this timeline split, the hero didn't show up. As evil broke through the land, knocking the king down, nearing the Triforce, the people of the land prayed, and the goddesses answered. It's said that the goddesses instructed those chosen to go and seek refuge at the mountaintops. So, when they flood the land to stop the evil, those people will be safe on what are now islands. That's how big a flood this was. The part of this that you've presented as a mystery is, were there any warning signs? Did any civilians try to fight back? What sort of sacrifices did people make? Of course this will be speculative, but we can make some guesses based on what was going on. To set the scene, imagine something similar to Castletown during the Great Calamity in Breath of the Wild. Ganondorf is wreaking havoc, his evil minions destroying things in their way, and no hero is present. Not even the mighty king himself is able to stop this mayhem. In terms of warning signs of a flood incoming, I honestly think it would have came as a shock to the majority of the kingdom. I think that only those who prayed to the gods were given the notice to flee to the mountaintops for what was to come. And at that, maybe not all of them, because the mountaintops could only hold so many people. These would go on to become islands. The population would have been cut down massively in order to stop Ganondorf. As for anybody fighting back, I imagine some tried, likely those more trained in combat, but ultimately they couldn't stop the chaos, likely resulting in many tragic deaths. Who knows if they even slowed the evil down. Sacrifices? I'm sure that kind of ties into the last point. Anybody who put themselves on the front line to try and stop the evil onslaught sacrificed themselves so bravely. A place which the hero of time should have been. Whilst these events are unseen, a mystery visually and in depth, I think it's easy to guess and assume the types of tragedies, horror and fear during this period. We get images, and that shows a lot already. Is there anything else that you all think happened during these dark days? That's what I think, and honestly, I'd love to somehow see a cinematic version of all of this. It'd be horrifying, but it would tell the tale well. Moving on to our next submission from Madalomist. I'm sorry if I butchered that. The Subrosians dug the underground segments we see in Breath of the Wild 2. The Subrosians are an underground, secretive race seen in Oracle of Seasons. They live in a completely subterranean world beneath Holodrum, Subrosia. It's like another world. I mean, it basically is. They use different currencies, it has a different climate, and of course, it's underground. Out of all of the underground living beings across the Zelda series, the Subrosians are the most likely to do something like this. For all we know, these caves are just a small part of the explorable underground in the sequel. It's highly speculative, but there could be a whole other world down here, a lost kingdom, if you will. And the Subrosians could be behind it. They have the knowledge and capability to design an underground world and cave system. These ruins that have been linked to the Zonai could actually be the work of the Subrosians. Or maybe they're one of the same. If there are so many ruins and structures down here, surely there is more than just Ganondorf. Only time will tell. I like this little theory that the adorable little Subrosians are behind the underground, but it falls short in one area. The game that they appear in doesn't take place in Hyrule. Holodrum is a completely different location. I will admit, there has likely been a fair amount of time between the two games in terms of the timeline, and it is possible that the underground race moved and or expanded. For me, it's a cool idea, but we need some more coverage on the underground before being able to go further with this, mainly knowing if the underground in the sequel is simply just a path to Ganondorf, or a whole underworld that we'll get to explore. Maybe I'll return to this in the future. Now for our fourth, but not quite final, submission. From Ultimato Super, we have already met a member of the Zonai. The Zonai tribe discussion just doesn't seem to go away. It's something we have to live with. It's here and here to stay. In case you don't know, the Zonai were a mysterious magical tribe from ancient times, in terms of Breath of the Wild. The possible Zonai that we've already met can be found in Phantom Hourglass, Link's second adventure at sea. In an uncharted secret island in the northwest section of the map, we can find a blacksmith by the name of Zauz. He is part of the Cobble people, an ancient civilization who specialized in architecture. They once ruled a large part of the world of the Ocean King before their fall. They have premonition abilities, something that could be considered magical. The Zonai have very similar things said about them. A magical and ancient tribe, big on architecture, and the specific member in question, Zauz, strikes a strong resemblance to what we are told the Zonai could have looked like. Take the barbarian armor for example. Zauz suits similar long red hair, and even has a very Zonai swirly looking tattoo. Could it be? Whilst not confirmed, many believe the people of Lurelin village to have descended from the Zonai, given all the Zonai symbolism in their village and the nearby ruins, basically right around the corner. The Cobble people are from the Great Sea. Could they have settled down here at some point over the years? I'll leave you all with that to think about. Is this a confirmed Zonai member? I don't have much more to add, as at the end of the day, the Zonai are one of the biggest mysteries with the least amount of stuff to talk about. Does that make sense? Is this a confirmed Zonai member? Let me know. Now for our final submission of the day, from user Whiskey, who predicts that there could be a magic meter in the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Now this is interesting, because the magic meter hasn't appeared in a mainline Zelda game for some time. The last time was all the way back in the Wind Waker, which was released in 2002. Twilight Princess had it in the works and possibly planned for the final game, but it never made the cut. A magic meter is pretty self-explanatory. It's a meter that counts your magic. In past games such as the Wind Waker, Link could obtain magical items such as the Deku Leaf and Hero's Bow when shooting fire or ice arrows. They'd require magic. You could find little pots of magic all over the place, just as you would with rupees and hearts, and each little pot would give you more magic to your meter. It's not just limited to items though. In other games such as Ocarina of Time, Link has magical abilities like Din's Fire. So how could magical abilities and items be reintroduced into the sequel, including a magic meter? Well, in the comment, you suggested that it'd be cool to have 3 options to choose from in terms of picking hearts, stamina, and now magic. Perhaps the green hand plays a big role in this, and we strengthen it over time, and the better the abilities we get, the more magic that's required, offering some new, fresh gameplay mechanics. I love this, and completely agree. If there is one mechanic that the developers could bring back and use it to add a fresh feeling, it's magic. We already know that there will be air-based traversal in combat. That's new and fresh. Magic would be returning and fresh. Okay, so I like the hand idea. It already has a very magical look to it, glowing a bright green hue when in action. So here are some ways I could personally see it being used in combat and traversal. I can see airborne enemies returning, and say Link can't reach one, and they're also quick enough to dodge arrows. The hand could somehow reach out and smack enemies out of the sky, or even pull them towards Link, similar to the reach of Midna's hand thing on our head. In terms of traversal, it could show off some old unused ideas from the first game. We saw these unused ideas with a corrupted hand on Link that could provide certain items. Whilst all could happen, the hammer specifically would be really cool for traversing areas and smashing down walls in your way. Doing both of these would of course drain your magic meter, as they would provide huge advantages. The potential for bringing back the magic meter is huge. There are so many things that could be added, from major to minor additions. Even just more powerful sword swings powered by magic would be really cool. Whatever this traversal mechanic is, other traversal mechanics both underground and in the sky, It's an open area to work on for the developers, and as of right now, we have no solid indication that magic will be reintroduced in this way, but if it was to be, that would be really cool. Let me know your ideas for other ways that magic could be reintroduced to the sequel. That's what I think. I like to keep it nice and simple, but let me know all of your ideas. From simple to crazy. Let me know. And that concludes episode 7 of reviewing your theories and mysteries. I hope you enjoyed watching. To get featured next time, be sure to drop your submissions on the YouTube community post that will be going up shortly after uploading this video. It'll look something like this. If you enjoyed, please drop a wee like down below and consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content. Follow my socials and join the Discord server to keep up to date. And as always, a huge, massive, amazing shout out goes to all of my channel supporters. Your support really helps me to make these videos week in, week out. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining, then consider supporting via the links below. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night. Let's hope for a Nintendo Direct with Breath of the Wild 2 soon. And until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.